Okay, I'm here at the Grove in Glenview, Illinois. It's a very nice place. I've been going here for about 40 years now. So we're in November here, so they're starting to get stuff ready for Christmas. So just strolling along here before it gets too cold. This is a place where they have many weddings and photo shoots. Over there you can see there's a place where they have people for the weddings. But yeah, it's a very nice place here, so I'm going to walk around and show you a bunch of the area. There's a nice buffalo statue they have over here. Now this is a very affluent area. So it's near Northbrook, and Northbrook is an area where many of Ferris Bueller's movies were said to take place. It said Shermerville 60062, which is actually the zip code for Northbrook. But anyway, this is next to Northbrook. So anyway, here's an area where I told you they sometimes have receptions for weddings. So private events only. Here's another building you can go into. Been in there, they had stuff where they were selling stuff. I'm not sure if they are right now. Other places where you can just sit around and walk. Here's another area you can go to. You can just sit there over by, looks like might be a fire pit, or you can just walk around. Nice nature trail. And they're already getting ready for Christmas. It's November 8th today, I think it is, and already getting ready. Been in that building a few times. I believe it's closed right now. Nice architecture there. And there's that other building there, which I believe used to be a horse stable, but now it's the bathrooms. You can see there. Here's those two same buildings from another angle. Yeah, I am correct. It's closed right now, so you can't go in there. And there's what it looks like to be doors, possibly from a stable a long time ago. And I guess people could live up there. I'm gonna take a tour of the other parts of this area. There's also some deep paths that go into the woods where you can actually easily get lost, and try to go through some of that. So we'll see what else is here. Here's a statue that they have in front of those same houses here, and it talks about a quote from Robert Kennicott. There's a house right around here called the Kennicott House, which I don't know if will be open. I'll try to get into it. But anyway, this is what it says. I remember going to this area one time around Christmas in, it was 1985, yeah, that long ago, so 40 years ago. And that's when we went into the Kennicott House, and ever since then, I like coming here. Here's a sign for the Grove. Talks about it and everything here. Certain things you can do. Looks like there's a history tour here from 11 to 3 p.m. So that's the Kennicott House I was talking about. See if I can go into that later. But yeah, this is definitely a place to check out if you have some free time and you're in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. Dates back 180 years, maybe 190 years. Here's a statue of Robert Kennicott. When I mentioned the Kennicott House, that's where that came from. A stocking cap on it, looks like. And here's what it says about him. Now this talks about John Albert Kennicott, who I guess was in the Agricultural Hall of Fame. So joining people such as Washington, Jefferson, and Lincoln, the 1st, 3rd, and 16th president respectively. And then it also says John Deere and Cyrus McCormick. McCormick is the one who McCormick Place is named after in Chicago. And then I believe he invented the thresher, which made it easier to farm. Anyway, this is the building for it. I've been in there once, and to be honest, it was just full of a bunch of extra parts and junk and stuff like that. It's not open right now. It's a nice building, just not much to it. Here it talks about something here. Archives building, that makes sense. I'm going to be going into the Kennicott building later. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but they're using some kind of like tool and it's making a lot of noise, so I don't want to film around there right now. But I will try to see if I can go in there later. I saw the door open, so it looks like a good possibility. Anyway, here on the right is the interpretive center. Nice cabin looking place. A lot of animals hang around here because they leave food, and inside they have stuff like turtles and I think some kind of lizards, stuff like that, and a bunch of taxidermy because one of the Kennicotts was heavy into taxidermy. So let's check this out. There's a second floor, but you're not able to go up there. Employees only, I believe. But I've always liked this building here. It'd be great to have something like this as a cabin of your own. It's huge. Just gonna take a little walk around here. Show you what it's like. You could have plenty of people around here. If you had a party, you could have a bunch of tables around here if you wanted, if the weather was nice. There's some birds eating the seeds they left out for them. You'll see that all over here. Some water for them. I'm gonna go walk around here to the other way, see if I can get in. There's also some private houses around here. I believe that's a private house there, straight ahead. Yeah, private residence. In this area, which also looks to be an old place for, I believe it was a barn for horses. I know they used to have crafts and stuff in here before. Oh, there's a party there today, birthday party. It talks about carpenter bees. There's a blacksmith shop right there. So it's open. And yeah, there's a private road over there. Like I said, I want to take some pictures on this old style cabin. I'm sorry, old style wagon, not cabin. Walk around here for a little bit and then try to go on some of the private trails, and then at the end probably go into the Kennicott house. There's a building here on the left you're going to see in a minute. This is the one with the fake well. I always used to take pictures pretending like I was in the well or falling in it. Yeah, it looks like that's closed right now. I've been in there as well. Talk about the history and how the people slept and everything. I'll walk over here. There's a good view of it. Walk around. There's some logs for people to sit around, I guess have a fire. Interpretive center again, the background there again. But yeah, it's closed. Here's that well I was talking about. It's not a real well, of course. Just go in there. But yeah, that's, not sure if that's the original house, but if it isn't, it's a mock-up of the way they used to live. Seems very musty and stuff in there. All right, so I'm gonna go in over here, check out this place. Like, I forget what this is called, but you'll see it in a minute. Here's a sign that says that place we just saw. That was the Kennecott cabin from 1836 to 1856. So yeah, some 189 years ago. Now it's not the original, so anyway, I wish it was open so I could show you what it was like, but unfortunately it's not. Here's that building I was just talking about a minute ago. It's closed, can't go in. Not sure Potawatomi actually building it says here. Mid 18th century, this is a mock-up of it. I assume since the winter gets really cold here that has kept everybody warm. Go into this little one right here. This one you can go in. All right. Go inside. There's a little stoop to sit on. There's the top. And there's what it looks like looking out. I've been going here many times, like I've said before. I'm curious what it'd be like to be in something like this when it's minus 10. Maybe dare try to do that one time. Maybe it's not even open then. Who knows? Here's the other end of that Potawatomi building. Locked up, of course. But I have seen it open before. Usually when they have some tours, or maybe it was during the summer. I don't know if I've ever come here in November, so maybe it's because it's the time of year. On the trail here that I talked about, I was going to go on, the one where you can get lost. There's a damaged tree, uprooted, but here you'll see there are quite a few of these little bridges along the way. They usually have water under them during the summer and spring, but obviously there's nothing right now. It's a very nice place to go with somebody, just to walk around, or by yourself. Just be careful though, because you'd easily get lost. They do have signs, but still, even with them, they're, to be honest, a little bit confusing at times. Here's a map that I was talking about, where trying to figure out where you are sometimes can be difficult. But I'm going this way, and it says one of the bridges is closed, so I have to go this way. I'm not sure if it circles around. I believe it does. But I'm going to head towards that way. I'm at another map here, and it's not far from where the other one was. And I can see we were right here, I believe, is where it was closed. And I went here, so I can now go this way and go through here. This is the route that's closed. So I guess if I just keep going this way, meet up with there, probably close there, or go around this way and go all the way to the end, which I'm not really sure. I guess that's just woods. So anyway, there is a tour in front of me, so I'm going a little slow and let them keep going because I don't want them to get in the way. Don't want their words or anything to interrupt what I'm doing. Actually, I just went ahead of that tour group and decided to go because they're sitting there taking forever and I don't want to wait. Here's another one of those bridges. So I guess one of these bridges on the other side was probably falling apart or something like that. Or maybe they just replaced this one. I think it's been at least 2 years since I've been here, walking down here. So I don't remember what this looked like last time. As a matter of fact, I may not have taken this way last time. Yeah, we're just gonna keep going and walking in here and show you a little bit what it's like. Further along we go. There's another map there that you can probably see in the foreground there. Anyway, I think this is around the area where it starts to get confusing because it splits off, if I remember correctly. But anyway, this is what you see for a while. It says this is 80 acres. So a lot of area to walk around in. Yep, this is where it actually connected to. Bridge closed. Actually, now that I think about it, probably show you later. There was a bunch of wood on the side there. That was probably the bridge. But yeah, this is where this came from. You can kind of see there. I don't know if that's the new bridge or they're gonna be taking it apart with that stuff in the foreground there. Nothing spectacular, but it does make it a little harder to walk around here for a few minutes. Okay, so if I go straight here is where I will go here. And if I go this way, this is where I will go. Go this way. I guess it just ends right here. I don't remember. Somewhere around here, there's actually some kind of weird graveyard. I think it was for like a military graveyard, a bunch of little stones. It was weird. I only found it once and it was very inconspicuous. We'll see if I can find it today. If not, oh well. And they call this the Portage Trail here. So March 10th, 1836 is when the Kennicotts were here, it says. Chicago was only 1833, I believe. So not long after this. Incorporated as a town, I mean, or city. So yeah, around the same time. Just going down this way. I believe there's another bridge coming up. But not much else, just kind of this for a while. Bunch of trees. Bunch of dead wood. Still very peaceful and nice to get away and walk around it sometime. We came up past this sign here about the wood ducks around here. I guess that's what they look like. One of the most beautiful species of ducks in the world, it says. And I guess they have these kind of little bird houses for them around their 6 nesting boxes. I don't know, I see this thing right here. I don't think this is it, or maybe an old one. If you can see that one. Almost looks like it has a little doorknob on it or something. I doubt that's it though. Anyway, it's probably been here for a long time. The other nesting boxes are new. Anyway, I doubt I'll find one of them. But it'd be interesting if I do. Still going. There's another bridge. I'm sure this will have to be replaced soon. Or maybe it was, I don't know. Replaced recently. I don't know. Who knows if the wood is rotten or not. But yeah, like I said before, if you go along here, all along the sides, it's full of water. So you don't want to fall off. only fall into maybe 6 inches of water, but probably be pretty bad, pretty smelly. And along here, there's a lot of benches to sit at if you get tired. Nice view of the other side. I think this place is a hidden gem. I mean, unless you live around here, most people don't know about it. Or if when you were in grade school you came here. Like I said before, first came here in 1985, but in 1989 I came here with my school. We learned how to make candles, make stew, and other things like that. I remember I was so excited because it seemed so different to me back then. I believe they still do that too. I can't remember what other activities there were, but there were a few. But I believe we're going to be circling around here in a little bit. There's another sign coming up. But pretty much, if you just keep going, this is pretty much the same. So I actually might turn around. Because like I said, it's going to be the same view. That's an interesting tree that split. Yeah, there's another sign. And it splits again, so. Yeah, pretty much the same thing, just circling around. So, just gonna show you the sign here real quick, and then I'm probably gonna turn around. Yeah, here we go. So, go one of two ways. This will just go around and circle. This way, you can kind of go back 2 ways. Like I said, I forget where this goes. Maybe it's some kind of lake or something, or pond. Just go back. But yeah, this is kind of what it's like. Just keep going in here, peaceful. Just pay attention to where you're going. Because I remember one time, it took us a while. Oh wow, look at that. It's the first time I've ever seen a deer in here. Let's see if I can get a better view of it. Probably run once it detects I'm coming near it. Let's see here. Let's see where it is. Oh, there he is. Oh, it looked at me. Maybe it sees me, maybe it does, I don't know. Hope it finds whatever food it's looking for or whatever it's doing. On my way back, just make sure I stay on the right path again when they split, but I should be okay. Just look for some of the landmarks. Unfortunately, where I'm at right here, and if I would have kept going, you can't really see any of the landmarks. So if you do come in here when it's starting to get close to dark, just make sure you know where you're going. It says it's open from dusk till dawn, so I don't know if somebody goes through here at night or at dusk and checks, see if there's anybody lost or hiding out. I've always thought that maybe sometimes I see somebody who was in here, who was sleeping in here overnight because they're homeless. You never know. Should be bumping into that group pretty soon. Still have to go see the Kennecott house and maybe go in the interpretive center, show you the inside of that. It's got the turtles and stuff like that, as long as it's not too crowded and loud. Maybe I'll take a few pictures if it's too loud in there. when I looked, when I was going around the building, it looked like there's at least a dozen people in there. Still walking back, I just saw the bridge from another angle here. Found it interesting because I guess when I've walked past here before, I've seen the water almost up to the top, so it can show you how far the water can go. So what is that, maybe a foot and a half, maybe a little less. But yeah, that's what the water looks like here. I mentioned earlier about seeing some wood that was probably the old bridge, and this has got to be it. Yep, that's what they did with it. I guess it was rotting or whatever. Oh well. Taking a different way than I did to go up there. Here's that same horse stable blacksmith building. I mean, basically I just went this path that was in front of me. I went that way to go around. Look at that. This tree looks like it was cut down. A big one that fell. I don't know if you can really see it there, but it's kind of hard to see, but this big tree that was cut down. Okay, I'm inside the blacksmith shop. So it's very warm in here, very nice. Look at that. Now what is that exactly? Is that a soldering iron or?
Right here?
Yeah.
The forge, they call it.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah, so generally back then they would have used what's in the back, that kind of bowl with a blower on it, that would have had coal in it.
That thing right there, the kind of like bowl looking thing?
Yeah, right next to the fan in the back there.
Okay,
so
okay.
That would have been filled with coal, and then you would have turned that crank in order to blow air into the coal, and that would get the temperature up, and you could get up to over 3,000 degrees.
Oh, wow. Is this building original, or was it just built just to be?
It was just built to look. It was built in that same type of a fashion.
Okay.
To the point where it's why you can see light through the beams in some areas.
I see.
It's not even being built. There's no concrete foundation or anything. It was just built on the dirt.
So you couldn't live here in the winter.
You could, but you'd have to have like your heater going. And for a blacksmith shop, the forge, if we shut the doors, that thing will make it 90 degrees in here.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Yeah, it'd probably be too hot in here.
Yeah, actually, even in the cold of winter, I'll have the door cracked open.
Look at those saws up there. Wow. Well, this is very nice. I'd never actually seen it like this. Like I said, I was here that one time when they were doing that tinsmithing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't hot or anything like that in here. Anyway, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I'm going into the interpretive center. And I'm just going to show you a little bit of what it looks like. There's some tortoises and stuff like that around here. Some birds. One up there. You can barely see it. There's a bird. Maybe you can see a bird there from a better angle. The one up there. Nice bird there. Okay, and here's this tortoise. You can see him sleeping. I think he's like 150 years old. Something like that. Never seen him sleeping. Always just seen him just, trying to swim in the little area that he has. Here's a bunch of turtles. Here's another view of that tortoise. I think it's hiding. Oh, look at that one. Should get yawning or something.
Yeah.
Sit there enjoying their lives.
And are you gonna explore?
This one's sleeping. Oh no. Here's their giant fish tank. Interesting looking fish. Is that an albino? I'm not sure. Looks like some kind of catfish. I don't know.
What kind of turtle is that?
Look at this bear. Probably what, 8 to 10 feet tall? Of course, he's on a pedestal right now, so it makes it look taller. But yeah, imagine trying to get away from that. We got a squirrel in here, hopping around. In his little area, but at least he's safe and he gets food and everything. Oh, look at him. Hear his little claws making noise. Wonder if he's looking at me or he just happens to just look over here. All freaked out. Is it me? It seems like the squirrel's a little bit bigger than the ones I normally see. Oh, keeps going around. Okay, here is a giant sloth. This is a megafauna. Not around anymore. Not like the sloths you're used to. Ground sloth. Harlan's ground sloth, named by the person. But yeah, they're extinct. Imagine that looking down on you. Here are some of the birds here, specimens. A warbler right there. This looks like the duck that they were talking about earlier in the sign, one to consider the most beautiful ones.
That's what Big Al is.
Okay, we have Madagascar hissing cockroaches. And there's one right there. I've always thought cockroaches are gross. Anyway, I believe that's where, if you ever saw the movie Creepshow, the last story, they're creeping up on you. I believe they got all of them from Madagascar. There's actually another one right there. Gross looking ones. Another one right there too.
Yeah. No, we'll walk through the plants a little bit.
Tarantula.
There's 3 snakes in there. Do you really want me to tell you, or do you want to come first? You want me to tell you? They're almost always hiding in the little baskets. So first place.
3-tooth box turtle. Live up to be about 50 years. And they're one of the only ones that can actually put all their head and arms and legs inside the shell. And it says here it's almost impossible to open the shell once they do. So they can protect themselves that way. There's another one in there, probably sleeping. And there's another one there. Russian tortoise. One moving around in the background or burrowing underneath. Actually, there's two. You can see both shells there, kind of. And there's this one right here. Back outside, and here's one of the feeders that I see. I usually see squirrels go in there, and some birds. They used to like to eat the seeds and stuff in there every time there's seeds in there. Okay, so I'm gonna go back now and see if I can get into the Kennicott house and walk around, or at least walk around the area. There's another bridge there. It's a big one. So, yeah. Always a lot of water there in the summer. All right, head back over to the Kennicott house. And I believe their graves are here as well, so check that out. Okay, Kennicott house to the left. Okay, in front of the Kennicott house here. I'm not sure what that little house is on the left is, but the big one there, that's theirs. Check it out here. Now, as I mentioned earlier, one of the Kennicotts was into botany, so they always have stuff here related to that called a sensory garden. So I have that. So we'll go here. I'm gonna take a walk around the house first and see if I can go inside. It's actually got a room that's kind of secret if you don't know about it, but I don't know if it'll let us go in there. Let's read what the sign says. Okay, so this is the second house. The first one was that little one that I showed you earlier, a mock-up of it. This one is from 1856. I'll read that there. I believe he was also the mail carrier around here. And back then, that must have been pretty difficult, taking mail around here. And I believe he was also a chemist, too. So, because on some of the shelves here, they had some stuff that was pretty poisonous, or at least thought to be poison. Anyway, we go around here, take a view of the house, see what it's like. I do see some people inside, so I believe there's a tour going on. So I don't believe I'm gonna be able to go in there and walk and talk at the same time. So, but this is right by Milwaukee Avenue here. So you can get here from Milwaukee Avenue really easily, in case you're wondering. But yeah, here's the house on the other side. And if you ever want to come here, maybe it's better just to go in there and see for yourself what it's like. The video. Unless I had the place to myself, I probably wouldn't be able to give a good view of it because, you know, there'll be people in the way all the time, which is understandable. So, and there's, I guess that house is probably for firewood and stuff like that, the one I mentioned earlier. And would you know it? There's the outhouse. Obviously, they didn't have indoor plumbing here. So, this is a view of the side of the house here. A bird made its nest up there. There's actually a room inside here where it has all of his stuff for taxidermy, which some of the stuff's probably 175 years old. So kind of gross actually. But yeah, check this place out and go inside if you can. I'll leave it up to you. Don't want to spoil the inside. What I'm going to do now though is I'm going to go over here. This is the last part of what I'm going to show you today. Over here are their graves. And actually, no, there's one more thing after this I forgot. In the back there is the old schoolhouse, which is probably closed, but we'll still walk up to it. Yeah, Kennecott Family Cemetery. Check this out here. And check out the schoolhouse, and then we'll be done. Okay, so they were actually relocated to the Wheeling Township Arlington Heights Cemetery on Euclid Road. I believe that is close to Waterman Street, if that's the one they're talking about. On the same site stood one of the first Sears catalog homes. Huh. He's married to one of the Kennecotts. Remember those? Remember Sears catalogs? I'm gonna walk around here to get to that schoolhouse. I don't know what this is, but maybe just a place to sit. But yeah, we can go over here and check this out. I think there's an outhouse for this schoolhouse as well in the back. This is actually a very fun place if you have a couple hours. Better in the summer, of course. I believe it's open year round, so maybe if you're daring, you can walk around here when it's really cold. Let's check this out real quick. That little building there on the right, I think that's an outhouse. Maybe it's a storage shed. Okay, the Grove School. Okay, so it's a replica. Okay. Built in 1987. 36 students, wow. Think about those old schoolhouses you always see, even like on the TV show The Waltons. That show's over 50 years old, at least from where it started. Just take a little view of this. It's too bad it's not an original, but yeah, original's probably turned to dust now. Let's see here. No, just a storage shed, not a outhouse. Here's the back. There's a bunch of apples on the ground here. Almost tripped over one. Little apples. But yeah, there's the other side. And take a little look inside. Kind of see it. What it looks like in there. Got one of those stoves to keep everybody warm. And yeah, 36 kids. Let's see if we can get another better view over here. Yeah, there's another view of it. Old desks that open up, and I guess you put your stuff in it, I guess. Or maybe not. Maybe it doesn't open. It looks like you can just slide everything in. Back in the day. All right, I believe that concludes the tour here. See, if you're ever in this area or new to this area, suggest coming here because it's a hidden gem, I think. And there's another quick view of cemetery there. 1806. So actually, this first thing that we saw was actually different. I was mistaken. Go take a quick look at that again, real quick. Just want to see what else it has. Go look. I don't know. I guess maybe certain times you can just come in here and sit. Not now. So maybe you can now. I don't know. I'm not going to try it. The fence doesn't look like it's. Do not pick. Yeah, maybe you can go in here and sit down. So I guess this was where the original one was. I don't know. Now I'm a bit confused. Anyway, little place to sit down. So okay, I guess pretty much what they did is this where some of the graves were? They took them out, like I said, to Arlington Heights, and now they made this. But then it also has that other one over there, other little fence. I decided to take one last look at that other fenced gravesite, and this is what it says. I know it was talking about somewhere in the wildlife preserve area, that it was talking about his body was exhumed in 1999 to see what he died of. But yeah, this is what it says, is this was his last wishes. He wished to be buried in a garden. Yeah, so him and his two sons are here. Robert Kennicott, John Kennicott, and Mary Ransom. Okay, I'm just walking away, going back to the parking lot. And I enjoyed going through here and documenting everything. And there's another view of the Kennicott house from a little bit further away. And somebody's taking pictures there. You actually need to get a permit here to take photo shoots. Just so you know that if you ever want to have a photo shoot here, meaning like, you know, for a wedding or whatever, this needs that. But yeah, just straight ahead is the parking lot. This is where I'll be going. I'll be going home. So, one last thing I want to show you before I go. They have this little area here where probably a lot of camps go to and sit around. Probably, I don't know, have lectures or whatever. They got this area here where you can all sit on a log. And all the time I've come here, I've never seen anybody do that, but it's always been here. Hope you enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe, and comment. So I'll be making plenty of more videos on stuff around Illinois, United States, and hopefully the world.